She stopped replying. The way she spoke to you shifted. She once lit up the moment you walked into the room. Now, your presence barely registers. You didn't betray her trust. You weren't dishonest. You simply gave too much of yourself. You were always there, always willing, and that's when she started to lose interest. In today's world, trying too hard to prove your value often has the opposite effect. It makes people overlook you. But what if the strongest move isn't saying more, but pulling back? Not with silence that screams for validation, but with silence that reclaims your power. Silence that resets the game. Silence that makes her notice what's missing when you're gone. Right now, I'm going to walk you through 5 quiet strategies. No speeches, no chasing, just calm, deliberate actions that shift how women perceive you. Ignore even one, and you'll keep finding yourself ghosted and taken for granted. Learn them, and the dynamic changes. You won't need to pursue anyone again. Stick around until the end. If you're ready, comment, "Power speaks quietly." Number 1. Pull your focus back. You've been pouring energy into someone who barely acknowledges it, always showing up, always caring, always trying. And what do you receive? Silence. Cold responses. Sometimes even sarcasm, like your efforts are a joke. You're quick to reply, you remember the little things, you check in often just to make sure she's okay. You do it because you believe that being consistent is what a good man should do. That showing up means she'll see your worth. But in her eyes, reliability has become routine. And routine becomes invisible. What she once appreciated, she now overlooks. She expects your presence. She assumes your attention. And when something is expected long enough, it's no longer special, it's background noise. You've been the dependable one. The loyal one. The man who never gave up. And still, somehow, that made you too available. Too easy to disregard. She never had to wonder if you'd be there. You were always just a message away, ready to explain, to fix, to give more. And now, you're drained. Frustrated. Wondering how someone you gave your all to could act like you were disposable. But here's the truth. You taught her it was okay. You made it safe for her to care less. You gave her the comfort of knowing you'd never leave, no matter how little she gave in return. That ends now. Not out of bitterness. Not to manipulate. But because you finally see your attention for what it really is: valuable. Limited. Deserving of respect. You stop initiating. You stop chasing. You stop explaining yourself every time she pulls away. And in that quiet shift, everything changes. Now it hits her hard. The silence you used to dread? It's the very thing she can't ignore now. She's watching your posts, asking around, showing up online more often, because something feels different. Off. It's not just that you're gone, it's that you've let go. She doesn't get to push your buttons anymore. Your reactions, no longer hers to control. Your worth, no longer hers to define. And with that, everything shifts. She used to get your time by default. Now, it comes with a price: respect, consistency, clarity. And when she doesn't offer that, you remain distant. You don't trade your peace for temporary attention. You don't chase her recognition. You've become someone who doesn't need to speak loudly. Your silence carries weight. You don't explain the distance. You embody it. And that presence, or lack of it, does what words never could. Now, it's not just that she remembers you. She feels the loss. She starts to second-guess everything: her choices, her attitude, her assumptions. She wonders why she pushed you away, why she treated you like you'd always be there, like your loyalty was guaranteed. But you're no longer the safety net. Not the emotional dumping ground. You're the man who stopped trying to be heard and became the quiet reminder she can't silence. And yes, it stings. But not nearly as much as it would have hurt you to keep giving in a place that quietly drained your worth. You've learned to stop investing in people who don't match your energy. You don't repair what refuses to acknowledge it's broken. Instead, you remove yourself and you watch. Because the moment she realizes you've stepped out of her orbit, that's when your absence hits the hardest. Your silence isn't punishment, it's a mirror. It reflects her actions back at her. No chasing. No convincing. Just distance, sharp and clear. She expected you to react. To fight. To fall apart. But all she gets is the one thing she never planned for: detachment. And suddenly, you're no longer predictable. You're the enigma again, the man she once admired before she tried to own him. Want to be truly respected? Step away. And pay close attention to who notices you're gone. That's your real worth. Because value was never in proving yourself. It was in knowing when to walk. If you're done feeling invisible, if you're done sacrificing your peace to be seen, then the Stoic relationship blueprint is the shift you've been waiting for. You'll find a link in the comments. This isn't just another guide, it's your reset button. Your game plan. Every quiet move. Every mindset shift. Every tool to reclaim your self-respect and protect it for life. Ask yourself, how many years have you spent trying to be enough for someone who never really saw you? This blueprint makes sure you never feel that way again. And once it's yours, no one can take that power back. This is your turning point. And the man who acts now is the one who never begs again. Number 2. Master your emotional discipline. You've grown up being told that reacting emotionally proves you care, that showing pain, frustration, or vulnerability somehow deepens connection. You were led to believe that wearing your heart on your sleeve would earn you understanding. That silence is cold, and composure is avoidance. But where has that really gotten you? Ask yourself honestly, how many times have you raised your voice trying to be heard, broken down in front of her thinking it would pull her closer, only to watch her drift even further away? Feeling isn't weakness. It's human. But reacting impulsively every time emotions hit, that's where you lose your grounding. That's when you lose the frame. And trust me, she notices. She doesn't test you to be cruel. It's instinctive. She wants to know what kind of man stands in front of her. Is he reactive? Is he shaken easily? Or does he stay calm under pressure? When you argue, plead, explode, or spiral into emotional chaos, you might think you're being open. But to her, it looks like you've lost control. And in that loss of control, something dies: the respect. The attraction. Because whether she says it or not, she longs for stability. For presence. For strength. She wants a man who stays grounded even when things get messy, not someone who collapses the moment things stop feeling easy. Restraint doesn't mean you suppress your feelings. It means you own them. You decide how and when to express them, not the moment she triggers them. You're not her puppet. And the second you act like one, her interest starts to fade. Think back. The last time she hit your pressure points, brought up your past, flirted in front of you, got cold and distant, canceled on you last minute, disrespected you, then flipped the story to make herself the victim, how did you respond? Did you chase her for answers? Raise your voice? Try to patch things up with words? Did you beg for clarity, hoping it would bring her back? And more importantly, did any of that actually work? Or maybe each time you reacted, you just lost a little more of who you are. Every emotional test is a chance, a moment to prove that her instability doesn't shake your focus, that her withdrawal doesn't spark your insecurity, that her games can't pull you out of your center. And when you respond not with forced calm, but with genuine composure, you throw off everything she assumed about you. She starts to question herself. She wonders why her usual patterns don't get a rise out of you anymore. And in that silence, a new kind of respect starts to form, quiet, but real. That's when you stop being ordinary. You become rare. Picture this: she lashes out, expecting chaos in return. But you don't bite. You don't explain. You don't react. You stay grounded, let her spiral, and move forward with your day like her storm never touched your sky. That's not avoidance, that's strength. That's choosing peace over performance. You're making a statement not just to her, but to everyone around you that your emotions are yours to manage, not theirs to manipulate. And this goes beyond relationships. When your manager snaps, when a friend betrays your trust, when life throws pressure at you, how do you respond? A man who's ruled by emotion is always defending himself. A man who pauses, who chooses his words and actions carefully, he's the one in control. He sets the tone. He owns the moment. If you want to become that man, start small. The next time someone disrespects you, pause. Don't explain. Don't react. Let your silence do the talking. Let them sit with their own discomfort. You owe no one a reaction that costs you your inner peace. And the more you practice this, the stronger you become. Some people will push your buttons just to feel in control. Don't hand them that power. Stay composed. Watch how quickly they unravel in your stillness. Because true control isn't about shutting off emotions, it's about knowing how to channel them with discipline. And that discipline, that's where your value rises. If you want to level up your life, start by mastering one thing: your response. Because once you control that, you control the story. Number 3. Elevate in silence. You've spent enough time being vocal about your struggles, your dreams, your next move. You've talked about how you're turning your life around, how you're growing, evolving, changing for the better. You told her. You told the world. And what happened? She nodded. She listened. Then kept scrolling. She's heard it before from you, from others. Ambition without action. Motivation without movement. It's not that she doubts your potential. She doubts your follow-through. Because your words became routine. Predictable. Easy to ignore. In a world full of noise, the man who moves without announcement becomes unforgettable. Because real change doesn't scream. It doesn't post updates. It doesn't chase validation. It shows up steady, solid, undeniable. That's who you need to be now. Don't talk about the gym, let your body speak for itself. Don't complain about being broke, let your discipline grow in silence until your bank balance tells the story. Don't argue about your worth, embody it. Quietly. Unapologetically. Stop updating her every time you make progress. Stop trying to prove anything. Stop needing recognition. Go all in, not on her, not on what people think, but on your purpose. Let your evolution be something she feels, not something she's told about. Let her see it in your eyes. In your walk. In your peace. In your distance. And when she finally realizes you're not the man she once knew, it won't be because you became someone else. It'll be because you finally stepped into who you always were without seeking approval. She'll remember the version of you that waited for her attention, that shrank to fit inside her comfort zone, that apologized for having goals. That man is gone, and you didn't announce his departure. You simply outgrew him. No final message. No dramatic exit. Just silence and progress. Now you're becoming someone she can't reach. Not because you're avoiding her, but because you've risen beyond the level where she left you. You stopped explaining. You started executing. You stopped performing. You started producing. You stopped seeking light and became it. And that kind of transformation, it shakes the ones who doubted you. It stuns the ones who underestimated you. And it haunts the ones who let you go. So don't post it. Don't say it. Live it. Breathe it. Become it. Withdraw. Go inward. Work relentlessly in the shadows. And when you return as the storm they never expected. Number 4. Leave without a warning. She never thought you'd actually go. You've said it before, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. I'm walking away. But you always came back. You always gave her the benefit of the doubt. You kept explaining, hoping this time she'd understand, that she'd finally change. And what did she learn from that? She learned you didn't mean it. That your boundaries were flexible. That your emotions were loud, but your actions were soft. So she pushed. She tested. She stopped respecting you. Not because she hated you, but because she knew you'd never really leave. You'd raise your voice, maybe get upset, but you'd stay. You kept choosing someone who wouldn't choose you back. And slowly, that chipped away at your pride, your energy, your sense of self. Every time you stayed where you weren't valued, you lost something. Your strength faded. Your confidence slipped. You started becoming someone you didn't even recognize, uncertain, reactive, disconnected from your own worth. Until one day, something shifts. No more threats. No more warnings. No more emotional speeches. You just leave. No anger. No final message. No need for attention. Just silence. You vanish from her world quietly. And it's in that quiet that something finally cuts deep. She hears what your voice never managed to say. Not through texts. Not through tears. But through absence, the kind she can't manipulate. She starts reaching out. Testing to see if you're still there. But now, you're not the same man. Now, you've seen what staying costs you. Because every time you accept disrespect, you teach her how to deliver more of it. Every time you settle for less, you tell her it's enough. So you disconnect fully. No announcements. No explanations. No drama. You just move on. You build in private. You heal in silence. You grow in ways she never believed you could. And the irony? The moment you stop chasing, she finally starts noticing. She replays the conversations. The time she dismissed you. The way she pushed, thinking you'd come running back like always. But now you won't. Not because you're angry, but because you've finally chosen you. You've learned that real strength isn't found in confrontation, it's in letting go. When you leave without a scene, without a final word, you take away her control. No closure. No story to twist. Just silence and reflection. And that silence forces her to face herself. That's when it hits. That's when she unravels. That's when she realizes the man she thought she'd always have is gone. And it hurts. Not because you punished her, but because she finally sees what she lost. While she sits with regret, you rise. You move forward, clean, clear, untethered. You didn't need to tell her you were done, your absence says it all. And the man who walks away with quiet confidence never needs to come back. Because he didn't leave to escape her, he left to find himself. And in doing so, he became untouchable. Number 5. Let your silence speak for you. You've said enough. You've explained, reached out first, opened up, tried to prove you were genuine through transparency and consistency. You've made yourself available always. And what did it get you? She didn't feel the weight of your words. She didn't feel your presence because she never had to deal with your absence. You were always just there. Predictable. Accessible. Easy to reach, easy to overlook. You removed the mystery. You gave away all the answers before she even had the chance to ask questions. And in doing so, you erased the very thing that keeps desire alive, the unknown. The tension. The space. The contrast. She never had to wonder how you felt because you told her. Never had to miss you because you never left. Never had to chase because you never stopped chasing. And so, you became expected. And expected quickly turns into ignored. But here's what you didn't know: attraction grows in silence, not in constant communication. It thrives in distance, not in closeness that smothers. You tried to love her with presence, but sometimes, real connection requires absence. Not as a punishment, but as a pause. A space where she has to reflect on what she feels without your influence. You filled every quiet moment with validation. Every pause with effort. But worth isn't proven through noise, it's recognized in the void. Think about it. You don't notice the air until you can't breathe. You don't value water until you're parched. You don't appreciate light until you're left in darkness. You were her constant, her reassurance, her emotional safety net. But now, she doesn't view you as valuable, she sees you as expected. And that's not on her. That's on you. Because you forgot the power of restraint. You confused showing up with showing value. Real attraction builds when she has to wonder. When she has to ask herself, what's he thinking? When she checks her phone and you're not there. When she questions where she stands. That's the spark. That's where desire lives. The man who doesn't rush to reply. The man who disappears, not out of spite, but because he's building, focused, and disciplined. That man becomes unforgettable. Not because he plays games, but because he respects his energy enough to protect it. And yes, that silence might feel uncomfortable at first. Especially when you're used to chasing, over-explaining, and begging for clarity. But that discomfort is your transformation. When she texts "hey" out of nowhere, and you don't rush to respond, not because you're punishing her, but because you're no longer orbiting around her world, that's when the balance shifts. You've detached emotionally. You've turned inward. You're no longer reacting to her inconsistency. You've started investing in your own growth. And suddenly, she doesn't know where she stands. She starts overthinking, questioning, craving the attention she used to take for granted. But don't let that feed your ego. This isn't about playing the game better, it's about not playing at all. It's not silence used as manipulation. It's silence born from peace. From emotional maturity. You're not making her miss you. You're just no longer handing out unlimited access to your presence. Because the truth is, the only people who should receive your energy are the ones who earn it. With consistency. With respect. With effort. So let her wonder. Let her feel the absence. Let her sit with the silence you used to fill. And in that space, if she realizes your value, good. If she doesn't, even better. That's your answer. Because a woman who feels nothing in your silence never valued your presence to begin with. Stop trying to convince anyone to care. Stop begging to be noticed. Stop performing for approval. You're not here to prove yourself, you're here to build yourself. And if she wants to be part of that journey, she'll show up fully, not with words, but with action. Until then, you keep moving forward. You let your silence do what your words never could. Reveal who you really are. And when you stop chasing, when you stop explaining, when you stop reacting, you become the man they never forget. The one they underestimated. The one who never needed to be loud to leave an echo. And if you're ready to stop giving everything and receiving nothing, if you're done being overlooked while staying loyal, then it's time to change everything. Because the man who finds peace in silence is the man no one can shake. Thank you for subscribing to us and leaving your comments.